Hello, my name is Justin Chung, and today I'll be talking about this week's readings. Alright, so we talked about teaching the taboo, effective classroom management, and what should I do as well. So, for my first slide, I'd like to talk about teaching the taboo, chapters 5 through 7. So, the main idea I thought from this chapter no, from this book was that you need to listen to your students before they begin to accept that they have no voice that's ever going to be heard by an authority figure. Right? That as teachers, we don't do it for the money, but rather to incite change in other people's lives. Right? I think that teachers are those who want to teach, must have that passion to really make a difference in another person's life and really be open to the ugly and honest truths that are out there in the world and about yourselves as well. That we need to start listening and understanding our students, because when we do that, it'll in turn help them begin to relate to yourself, the teacher, and vice versa to the students. By doing this, you'll begin to create more engaging and create more understanding between the two. As a teacher, I really want to be honest with my own students. I want to know who they are. I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know what made them who they are right now. And this book has shown me that it's possible. But for that to happen, I just need to be consistent. I may get a pink slip one day, but work goes on. And, I think about that in a happy note, actually. Next was classroom effective classroom management, chapters 6 through 7. Thought the main idea for this one was that in order to engage and maintain the attention of your students, you need to be prepared and have to at least consider 3 steps in your perspectives, such as did I consider the number of students in a group? If so, how many groups will there be? Should I let them decide, or should I pick them? Really getting into detail when you're preparing and planning a lesson in order to keep them engaged, as well as creating a good flow. Reading this book helped me discover how in depth I need to consider things. For example, when I'm creating an inquiry can't speak right now, an inquiry lesson plan, for example, right? I need to think of the question that we're going to have to ask, like, and then what are the parameters that we're going to have to change in this investigation, and if so, how do I need to adapt this lesson plan in case of certain special students' needs? Things like that, for example. As the kind of teacher I want to be, I also need to discipline the students, really maintain that vigilance with myself as well as other students, because I notice I can be a bit relaxed with students at times. Still haven't mastered that teacher look yet that you give when students are misbehaving, but after reading this book, it's only reconfirmed what I need to do to manage a classroom. And finally, for what to do in chapter 5, what should I do, chapter 5, it basically, that the main idea was how to teach your unprepared students who had passed due to maybe a previous teacher being pressured to give out good grades. So a student may not be ready. So be prepared for that. Be ready for the unprepared, basically. And that we need to be more flexible in special circumstances. Because teaching isn't a one-size kind of fits all kind of thing. Some students won't pay attention, some students will act out, and some students will try really hard, even though they aren't prepared, even though they don't understand what was going on. And even though you want to help that student pass, you have to consider, will passing him really help him out understand the material later on? He'll be even more confused and more unprepared. So hopefully you'll be prepared, because there will be moments when your student is unprepared for the things you're trying to teach. For example, if you say reciprocal, that might be too complicated for a student, versus just saying flip the two. Although it might be a simple example, it's still gonna happen. So we need to be more flexible as teachers to include their special circumstances as much as we want to encourage academic discipline. Like I said, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. You wouldn't reprimand a student for talking versus simply also giving them a small reprimand for starting a fight. Those are two different offenses. And just like with your students, one who gets it doesn't talk but turns in his work on time, easy A, versus a student that struggles, really comes in after school but still manages to fail at a close D+. I mean, what are you going to do? And you're going to have to be ready to make a decision, and you can't hesitate on whether you want to actually go the extra mile, be more fluid and less rigid in your teachings. But after reading this, I've understood that to understand who our students are and what their lives are, we need to know their special circumstances when they come in late during period 1, because school for you is just a job. For them, it's their entire lives, right? And that we are there for the majority of their adolescence, if you think about it. So we need to be more prepared for them. That was my talk, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.